Good morning, everyone. It's Karen, and welcome to Live Wednesday with Karen. Today's topic is keeping the tops of the tall stitches neat. This is a question that I get a lot, and I finally decided that I'm going to do a little mini lesson on this. And it doesn't just apply to tall stitches, it also applies to when you're skipping spaces and you're not chaining between. You can get these weird loops. So we'll talk about all that in a moment. But before we get to the topic today, I thought I would jump into the chat room first, see who's here. And we have Linda and Daisy, and I'm so glad you're here. And I hope you're having a blessed day too. And we have Stephanie in Texas who's working from home. That's great. And her cockatiel's here. That's awesome. So we've got pets today. That's awesome. My two pets are in another room. And we have Charlene. And Charlene, I did not get your email. So I'm going to put my email address in the chat room later. Remind me before we end the show. And that way you can email me again so that I can get that pattern to you. And then let's see. We have Laura. Good morning, Laura. It's good to see you. And thank you for the congratulations on my grandbaby. I'm so excited. He actually got to come home on the 4th of July. So I have still not met him yet. My husband is right now on his way to the west side of the state to move my son. So because my son is moving to a new school district, which means he needs to move 2 hours north of where he is right now, and which is a great thing for him. And so my husband's helping him move because he has no one on the old end to help, but he does have people over on the new end to help. So yes, so we're not going to go see the baby until either Friday or Saturday. My husband's should be coming home sometime tomorrow. And then Saturday's my daughter's birthday. So we're definitely going to be there for that. But yeah, I can't wait to meet him. Good morning, Patricia. It's good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. And Renee's here. Good morning. I'm glad you were able to make it today. So anyway, guys, before we get started, I'm going to show you a couple things. Hang on. I need to stop sharing the screen here for a second and share a different screen because, hang on one sec. Let me pull it up here if I can find it. There it is. Okay. Now, I am giving away a pattern today like I do all the time. The pattern is pretentious. I actually have the original sample here. It's actually made with 10 mini skeins. I'm gonna make me a little bit bigger here. Yep. And why am I not seeing? Okay. Let's do it this way. Let's do it that way. So I'm a little bit bigger. So it's made with 10 mini skeins. It's an asymmetrical shawl. We start at the point and we work until the final edge. It's a huge shawl. It's like 1,350 yards of mini skeins and 10 different colors. The dyer who made this yarn is no longer dyeing. Her name is Black Trillium Fibers. But her mini skein packs, there were 5 colors in each one. And it was a total of 675 yards. So divide 675 by 5, and I can't remember the yardage for each individual skein. So that's what you need for this. And it's a fun shawl because it's basically you start with double crochets and then you do a fun little lace stitch, and then you do double crochets with eyelets, and then you do stripes, and then you do the same lace stitch again, and then you do the eyelet stitch again, and then you do some stripes, and then you do the lace stitches at the end. You can adjust this pattern to be however long you want it to be, but that's the pattern I'm giving away. And in order to win that, and I need to share a different screen now. Hang on one second. You need to type um, into the chat room hashtag mini skeins. Make sure you spell it correctly, because if you don't spell it correctly, you will not register to win. So I'm going to leave that up for a second here, just so you guys can see it. Oh, I just saw that Colleen is here. Good morning, Colleen. I'm trying to get my cursor back to where it needs to be. There you go. Good morning, Colleen. It's good to see you. So if you're interested in winning that pattern, I'll be drawing from the winners. Just make sure you type in hashtag mini skeins in the chat room so that you can enter to win that pattern. Now, Charlene, because you won last week, I can't have you as a as a winner today. So please don't enter. And if you already have this pattern, please don't enter. But if you want to win, make sure you type that in. So today's topic is keeping the tops of tall stitches neat. And I am going to do a little bit of discussion on this first, or it's more like a little tutorial I'm going to do on this this problem. It's not going to be very long, because there's really not a whole lot of things you can do, but if you do it right, you can fix the problem. But I'm going to show you two different ways of when your stitches are a lot taller than, when you go from like a single crochet to a triple. There's pattern stitches that are like that, and there's no chain space between them. And you get that big loop on the top of your stitch. And I'll show you that in just a second. I just want to keep this on the screen really quick. You get that big loop. And then I'm going to take that off. And I'm going to put my camera on so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, guys? Ah, okay. Can you hear me now, guys? Somebody, yes. Okay. Okay. So what I need to do then is leave myself on the screen and just go this way. Hang on. How do I do this so that you guys can see what I'm doing? Okay. I'm going to have to leave it this way. I am so sorry, guys. I didn't realize that was a feature of this lovely software that I have to stay on screen the entire time to have volume. So I apologize for that. Okay. So let's start again. So this is going to be a little longer than I thought. Okay. And I'm going to probably have to cut out that part of the video where I had no sound. So, shoot. Now I don't have visuals here, but we'll talk about this a little bit. Okay. So you guys probably could see me. Let me make this stitch here really fast. And then we'll talk. Okay. So the problem that I keep getting asked about is when you go from one stitch to another, from one that's taller or from a taller one to a shorter one, the loop between or the top of the chain at the top of the stitch stretches. So it's a little bit, this one's not doing it quite as much, but usually the stitch on top of the taller stitch or the shorter stitch is bigger. And there's a little bit bigger hole here where you would insert your hook for the next row. And the question was how to get rid of that. So there's two things I do. So the first thing is when I pull the last stitch, make that last stitch, the last loop on the hook stays on the shaft, and the shaft is where you get your millimeters. So it's a 4 millimeter hook. That's going to be your 4 millimeters, your 5 millimeters, whatever size hook you're working with. So what I always do is I don't slam it so tight that it squeaks when I'm pulling, but I have it pretty snug next to the hook. Okay, it still can move pretty freely, but it's snug. Okay. And then when I yarn over, so I'm going to do a triple here because those were doubles. When I yarn over, I pull all 3 loops as close together as I can and put my finger on them so that this loop doesn't stretch. Okay. Does that make sense so far? So you see how I've got the 3 loops, but my finger's holding all 3 of them in some way, shape, or form. And then I insert into the stitch and pull up the loop. Okay. Now, one of the things people don't realize with the pulling up the loop on the stitch, a lot of people want to bring it up and make it bigger. You don't want to do that in any crochet stitch. You want to just keep it to the 5 millimeters or the 4 millimeters or whatever it is here. But then I use my finger again to hold those loops. So all 4 loops now are on my finger. Can you see that under my finger? Then I yarn over and pull it. Well, before I yarn over, I forgot this part. Before I yarn over, I make sure my thumb and finger are pinching kind of where the stitch is coming out or the loop is coming out of the stitch. So I pinch it right there. So that what that does is that does not allow the working yarn to come through the stitch. So when I yarn over and I pull through the first 2 loops, the base, the yarn did not get any bigger here. Yarn over, pull through the next 2, making sure my thumb or my finger is still on the last stitch there. And oops, there we go. And then yarn over and pull through the last 2. Now, if you look at the top of the stitch, it's about the same size. Can you guys see that? It's about the same size as the ones next to it. Now, because it's a little bit taller, you might have a gap between the body of the stitch or the post of the stitch. But if you look at it this way, with the hook in there, you'll notice that the hole that you would insert your hook into is the same size as if you were working the next row on top. It's the same size as the other two. Okay. Anybody have any questions on that so far? Okay. Doesn't that look much better, Debbie? I'm glad you're here, Debbie. And Dawn popped in too. Good to see you. Awesome. Okay, so now what I just did is the same idea. You do the same thing if you're skipping stitches. So let's say you do a triple crochet, you need to skip 2 chains or 2 stitches and then do another triple, okay? But you're not chaining in between them. Because normally if you want to do like an eyelet or something, you would chain 2 because you're skipping 2 stitches and then doing your triple in the next stitch. But in this case, you want to make, let's say, a chevron, and you're doing the valley of the chevron where it goes dips. So you're actually skipping stitches here. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to yarn over twice to do the triple, finger on top, skip the first 2 stitches, go to the third, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, pinch, don't forget to pinch, yarn over, pull through the first 2. And when I pull through the first 2, I make sure the last 2 are still under my finger. Yarn over, pull through the next 2 and make sure that last one is still under my finger. Oops. It's hard. I haven't been using worsted weight yarn, so I'm having a hard time. I've been working on something in fingering weight. So this is kind of awkward for me, especially since I'm reaching over my keyboard right now. Okay. So there we go. So now there again, you've got your space because we skipped 2 stitches, but the top of the stitch is pretty on par with the other stitches. And the space between where you're going to insert your hook right here is the normal size. I'm going to bring it closer. Does that work? Do you see that, guys? See how that looks so much better? So the key is to make sure that the yarn is wrapped around this snugly, not so tight that you're squeaking and you can't pull your hook through, but snug. The second thing is make sure you utilize your pointer finger, whether you're left-handed or right-handed, utilize that pointer finger to hold the loops on the hook. And the last thing you need to do is pinch at the bottom so the yarn does not slide through the hook as you're doing your yarn overs and pull throughs. So I'm going to show you here an example. I was talking about doing chevrons, and this is the blanket I am making for my grandson that is almost done, and I almost lost my hook. But it is chevrons, okay? And part of the chevrons, I'm going to, oops, my screen is doing something weird now. Hang on one second. There we go. Okay, so part of the chevrons is I'm skipping stitches between the in the valley part because it's a shallow valley. You'll notice that I do have some stitches here that are making holes, like this one right here. It's making a hole up here. There's one here because I wasn't paying attention. Here's another one. I don't know if you guys can see where I'm pointing at. All right, here's my finger. So see how this loop right here above it, right here, is too big? That's because I wasn't paying attention of what I was doing. So when I pay attention, they're nice and tight and even. Here's this blue section right here. They're all nice and even. Can you guys see that? But that one section that I showed you up here, I wasn't paying attention and things got too big. So that is literally what you have to do. You have to just think about, and once you start doing it and you just, I'm going to take my camera off screen here for a second so you just see me. Once you start doing it, your muscle memory will kick in. And with every stitch, when you do either a taller stitch next to a shorter stitch or a shorter stitch next to a taller stitch, or when you're doing skipping spaces, things like that, you'll automatically remember, okay, I got to hold these, I got to pinch, and I got to make sure everything stays nice and even. It may slow you down at first. Honestly, it will slow you down a lot at first. But once you get used to it, and especially if you're using fingering weight yarns or lace weight yarns, it goes a lot faster. So when you start getting into the bulkier yarns, I would say worsted weight, at least for me, because my fingers are really short. I have short fingers. They're not super long. So I have to really be conscious of making sure I'm holding them correctly and things like that. But anybody have any questions on that at all? I see Laura says, ah. Linda says it does look much better. Yeah, trebles and taller. What's really nice is I learned this from my grandmother when I was doing thread work, when I was learning to crochet. She did, for those of you who don't know my story, I learned from my grandmother at the age of 7. And the first day she taught me all the stitches using worsted weight yarn, and I covered a crochet hook, or not a crochet hook, I covered a coat hanger with double crochets and sewed it all together and did that. And then the next time I saw her, which was about 2 weeks later, she gave me size 10 thread and a size 6 steel hook. And I learned Italian lace. So if you know anything about Italian lace, the taller the stitch makes all of the fun lace that you see in all of those beautiful Italian bedspreads and tablecloths and things like that. And so she taught me how to pinch and hold so that my stitches would be nice and even and snug. So, and you know, as you get older, you get lazy and you forget to do these things. And so that's why I'm doing this is because it's not only is it became apparent to me making this blanket for my grandson, but also for all the questions I've been getting that I needed to teach this. So that's the way to do it. So that's the way my grandmother taught me. I'm sure there's other people out there that have different ways of doing things to make things look neater and snugger. What I can tell you too is this yarn, this is the Knit Picks Brava that I was using, this red. It is what I'm going to call a sticky yarn. So it's probably not the best yarn for me to show you how to do this because even without holding, my stitches stay neat because the yarn sticks to itself. So if you have something that the yarn likes to stick to itself, like 100% wool or an acrylic that just has a lot of grab to it, I don't know what else to call it, but it just like grabs itself. You may not have this problem, but something slick like a fingering weight that has silk in it, or even a worsted that has silk in it. Thread, lace weight yarns usually, unless it's like a linen or something that's grabby, you're going to have this problem. So that's when you need to remember to use your finger, because even though my finger is pretty much when I'm crocheting just holding the hook, because I'm a knife holder and I pretty much crochet like this. I can crochet like this. And when you're actually a pencil holder, you can use your finger a lot better. That's why my grandmother showed me this way, because she insisted on me that I crochet like this with my finger on top of the hook so that I could grab whatever I needed. But since I tend to want to be a knife holder, it takes a little bit for me to remember, okay, use your finger or use your fingernails to hold the yarn down. So, okay. So Debbie says snug but slides and hold. Yep, that's exactly what you want. And Colleen says, it looks like pretty waves. Oh, the blanket. Yes, that's kind of what I was going for. She's done a woodland theme in his nursery. And so I wanted the blanket to match. So I pulled some of the colors that she picked. I actually have three hanks left of the yarn. I'm going to be breaking into these pretty soon, but these are the 3 colors. This one's called, this is Dream in Color yarn. It's the Classy Base, which is 100% superwash worsted weight wool. And this is called Naked Shame. This one's called Bluefish. And this one is called Petrified Forest. It's kind of a green. It's kind of a deep green. It's kind of hard to see here on the screen, but when you see it in person, you can see the difference between the blue and the green. And well, maybe that's enough light. At least you can see it there, but it's not. There's a much more drastic difference than what you're seeing on the screen. So really quick, I'm going to put on the banner since I'm showing you that yarn. I thought I should have that yarn on here. Oh, maybe I took it off. Okay. Dream in Color is literally dreamincolor.com. So if you want to look up this yarn, and Base is Classy. And then I just gave you the names of the yarn. So awesome. Judy, I'm glad to see you here. I'm glad you were able to make it. And Laura, using my finger to hold was a bad habit when I first learned. Good to know it's not a bad habit. I don't know why people would even say that because everybody crochets differently. I'm going to put these back on my shelf here really fast. Everybody crochets differently. And I am a true believer of if you need to use your fingers in other ways, I mean, as long as your stitches are being made properly, there's really no reason why you can't hold your yarn with your fingers. I have seen crocheters crochet. And those of you who are part of Crochet Partners, you may remember Bonnie Pierce, who was a member of Crochet Partners years ago. She would wrap the yarn. I mean, she would crochet, but when she would yarn over as if she was knitting regular, where you throw the yarn over her hook. I mean, that's not the way we teach crochet, but if that worked for her, that is how you do it. So don't let anybody tell you there's bad habits. And this is true with knitting. And this is true with, I mean, there are things that you have to be careful with because they're repetitive motions and you can deal with, carpal tunnel issues, things like that. But honestly, there's really nothing that I would say is a bad habit unless it's starting to cause you pain. So let's put it that way. It gives you more control. Yes, I agree. It gives me a lot more control when I am crocheting knife hold and using my fingers. It gives me a lot more. I feel like I have more control over what the yarn is doing. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Good morning, Liz. Good to see you. I'm so glad you popped in. Okay. Anybody else have any questions about, anything that has to do with, the stitches being too tall, too short, loops being too loose, any of that stuff? I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Really quick. I'm trying to think. Oh, okay. So if nobody has any questions about that, I have some big news. Those of you who are new here may not know that since January 2021, I have been battling bladder cancer. And yesterday was my appointment after my last round of quarterly maintenance treatments. And I am cancer-free. I don't have to have any more treatments. And although they are still going to check me every 6 months for right now, but I can finally heal and lose the brain fog and feel like my words are coming back. So honestly, you guys, I am so excited. I can't even stand it that I don't have to have any more treatments. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm so excited. I just thank God for hearing my prayers, hearing everybody's prayers. I know a lot of you were praying for me. So it's kind of a relief that now the doctor said I should probably start seeing all of the brain fog going away completely by the end of the year. You probably noticed that I mix up words a lot lately. That's part of the treatment. That should go away. So I am so excited. I can't even tell you right now. So I wanted to let you guys know first because you guys were the first ones to know that I even had cancer when I started. So, and that's why I'm wearing my Pray, Crochet, and Don't Worry shirt, because that's what I did a lot of doing. Those last 18 months have been praying and crocheting. And those of you who've been around for a while know that in the last year, in the 12 months of last year, I designed 18 patterns because all I could do was crochet. So I'm so excited. So excited. So I had to tell you. Will my grandson's blanket be available to purchase? I am letting my daughter make that call. I have the pattern written. So my thought is, if she is willing, because I am designing this for my grandson, and it's going to be his alone. If he has any siblings, I am going to design them their own blanket. But I want her to say, yeah, Mom, you can go ahead and sell that pattern, or no, I want it to be one of a kind for James. So as soon as I know that, and it's going to probably be, the day that I give it to him, I'll ask her and I'll let her know that you guys are interested. So, and I may end up just taking my own pictures for the pattern so that James could actually be in the pictures as a little baby. So, so we'll see. We'll see. That's all I can say is we'll see. And thank you guys. Thank you so much for all the yays and the praise the Lords. Yes, praise the Lord for sure. I mean, all the prayers. That does call for confetti. Let me put my confetti on. Hang on, guys. It does call for confetti. Last night I had ice cream for dessert because I haven't had ice cream in a little while. And so I was like, I need something. Because I knew I couldn't leave the house last night because my husband was getting ready to move or to drive out. So we had ice cream I'm going to celebrate some other way. I don't know what. I told my husband I want to take a trip, but I'm going to wait until, things settle around here too. But thank you guys for always being here for me. Even with the crazy, I'm losing my mind kind of things, days. You guys have been here for me, so I appreciate that. Anybody have any questions for me? I'm going to remind you guys while you guys are thinking about questions. I'm giving away Pretentious, the pattern for Pretentious. Since we're about halfway through, a little more than halfway through. That's pattern for Pretentious. I can't talk. See, I told you I can't talk. And if you want to win the pattern for Pretentious, you type in hashtag mini skeins. Make sure you spell it correctly, because if you don't spell it correctly, you don't have it all together like that, it will not register. So if you'd like to win that one, make sure you type in mini skeins or hashtag mini skeins. Okay. So anybody have questions? Anything you want to talk about? For those of you that are part of the Pattern Club, I did post last week's Zoom on the Pattern Club website. So make sure you watch the Zoom. Next month, or July's pattern will drop on Monday, and I'm getting that prepared today to go, just so you guys know. And what was the other thing I wanted to mention with you guys about the Pattern Club? I think that's it. For those of you who don't know what the Pattern Club is, you can go to my website, KarenHooley.com, and you'll see the Crochet Crew, and you click on that link in the top menu, and that'll bring you to the Crochet Crew. It's our Pattern Club for the year. I drop a pattern every month. I'd be crazy if I did them every week. I drop a new pattern every month, and we have a Zoom call, and we have a area that we chat about that pattern and things like that. So if you're interested in that, you can either go to my website or shoot me an email and ask me questions. It's going to change next year a little bit, and I'll be talking about that more as we get closer to December, because December I'll open it back up and it'll be in a totally different format. Then it won't be just a Pattern Club. It'll have a lot more to it. So if you're interested, check that out. Okay, what was the other thing I wanted to? Oh, I know. I don't know if you guys got my newsletter yesterday. I did have a newsletter that went out yesterday, and as of this morning, only 96 people opened it. So I'm not sure what happened. And it went out yesterday at 10 a.m. your time, whatever time zone you are in is the time zone you should have gotten it. And usually by now, I have over 60% of the people who have opened it. So make sure you check it. It says the title or the subject was Summer Crochet is Heating Up, and with a bunch of little flames. So check to see if you've got it. But there's two things in that newsletter that I want to let you guys know as well, because I know there are some people here that aren't subscribed to my newsletter. And there's two things. The first thing is I mentioned this last week, but I am no longer going to be printing my patterns except for wholesale customers. So what I'm going to do with wholesale customers, because I know Laura's here, she's one of my wholesale customers, is if you want to order patterns for either just to have in stock, or if you want to create kits on any of my patterns, I will drop ship them to you if I don't have any left in stock, because I just sold a ton yesterday, but to a dyer who's actually going to make some kits. But I still have a lot of patterns left. And so what I've done is the patterns are regularly priced anywhere from $7 to well, I think my most expensive pattern is $9.50. But they've all only print, not digital, but all my print patterns have been priced to $4.50 each. If you buy 5 or more, you get free shipping on these patterns. Plus, what I didn't put in the newsletter is that my local yarn shop that I did Cloudberry for, this is a copy of the pattern that we had printed with her logo on it, and she had leftovers, so she gave them to me. She paid to have these printed. She told me to just give them away. So if you order 5 or more, you will also get a copy of Cloudberry for free while supplies last. I don't have that many of these. I think there's less than 20 of these. So if you want a print copy of Cloudberry, this is the way to get it. This is going to be an ongoing sale. So, these are just 3 of the many patterns I have in print. Some of them, like, which one am I looking at? This one. Cyclamen and the Moss, I only have 2 of these patterns left. So if you want it in print, now's the time to get it, and you're getting it at a really good discount. And then other patterns like Desert Sunset, I might have like 5 of them. Whimsy is, let me see if I can pull Whimsy here really quick. Whimsy, I have an even dozen of these. So if you have a guild or a shop or any sort of group that wants multiple copies of one pattern because you want to do them together or you want to create kits or whatever, hit me up over email and we can see what we can do about getting you a good deal on shipping for multiple patterns for a group. So, but if you go to my shop right now, all of those patterns, if you're on my newsletter, you will see that I listed all the patterns, and I forgot Cyclamen and the Moss. It's not listed on that newsletter. I don't know how I skipped it accidentally, but this is Cyclamen and the Moss. And then if you go to my website, to my blog, I also have the list there, and it does not include Cyclamen and the Moss right now, but it will after this show, because I realized it as I was getting ready for the show that when I went and pulled this pattern that it wasn't listed. So there you go. So for people who like kits, let your local yarn shop know about my patterns, or a dyer that you'd like to work with. I am more than willing to do that for people. So if you're interested in kits, I'm not going to be doing very many kits myself anymore. I know for my 20th anniversary a few years ago, I did a kit. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do that again because my 25th is next year. I may do some cross promotions with other dyers for particular patterns I'm going to be releasing next year. But that you could buy the book for me or the pattern for me and then get the yarn from them at discounts or something like that. That I might do. But I see that, Colleen's mentioning kits and all that stuff. So, and the other thing I have on sale, and I don't remember if I mentioned this last week or not, but this book, Pineapple Passion, I am closing these out in print. I have too many copies in stock, and I'm going to break up this book eventually. So I would like to have the books as few books as possible. This book is regularly $17.95 in print. I am selling them now for $7.99. It's like 62% off, something like that. And when you purchase the print book, you also get the download codes for free download of the digital copy of the pattern. So if you are interested in getting Pineapple Passion, and I will sign the books. So this I'm not giving free shipping on, but you're getting a good discount. You're getting a little less than $10, 9 something off. So if you're interested in these, I've got them in stock. I've got a lot in stock. So, and for shops, you can also get them for $7.99 and then sell them at the retail price. So you're getting even a bigger discount than you would if you were buying it wholesale. So there is that. Other than that, there's really nothing new in the studio. I have no new yarn other than those hanks that I showed you here. This is last week I showed you the actual skeins that were unwound, or were still in the hank form, I should say. They were in the hank form. I used 2 of each color already. I'm almost done with the second, and I had to go buy new yarn or new hanks, more hanks, because I was going to be about 6 inches short. So there went my math skills on that one, but that's okay. The yarn didn't work quite the way I was expecting it to. So I was just checking to see here. You guys we are all a little loopy, but in different ways. Get better together. That's exactly right. We are all better together. And I'm so glad you guys are here. And Linda says she loves that book. And Colleen says she loves kits. So yay. Okay. Awesome. So, and Laura, I just want to let you know, I got notified today that my newsletters have been bouncing for you. So if you haven't been getting any of my newsletters, I don't know what's going on, but I don't know if you changed your email or whatever, but whenever I send a newsletter, you've been bouncing for the last like 4 or 5 times. So just so you know. Colleen says there are no local shops. Oh, you're in Arizona, right? I think you said Arizona. I can't remember where you said you are now, Colleen. Because there used to be a shop in Phoenix that I know of, but I can't remember if I'm remembering correctly. Don't feel bad. I never did have any math skills. Got you. Okay, Laura. That's why you're not getting anything. Your email changed. Okay. That's why you bounced. Okay. And Charlene, are you subscribed to the newsletter? You need to send me your newsletter, your email. So I'm going to give you my, Charlene, that's my email. I'm just posting now into the chat. In order to get the newsletter, just look for one of the subscribe forms on my website at KarenHooley.com and just subscribe to my newsletter. If you are subscribed, I'll check your email address in the system. But you need to send me an email to that address so that you can get last week's pattern. So awesome. Okay. You're welcome, Charlene. No problem. Okay. Anybody else have questions for me? I've still got about 12 minutes before I really should get off, because not having my husband at home means I can get a lot of work done without interruptions. So, and I have not only crochet work to do, but I've got housework to do. So, let me know though if you have any questions, and on anything. It doesn't have to be on today's topic. It could be on anything you want to ask me about, things that are coming up. Um, oh, trying to think what else is going on around here. Um, one of the reasons why I am trying to get space in my, because I'm trying to get rid of all the stock of print patterns, because they're just, I mean, a lot of people just would rather have the digital and print it themselves, not pay for shipping and all that. And I completely understand that. But I am going to be producing another book next year, and I need the space. So this is the book that I have the most copies of, and that's why this one's discounted for right now. And this will be discounted forever until they're all gone. But I don't want to, if you can't buy it now, you can buy it later. But once my print copies are gone of this book, but this particular book, I will not be printing anymore that I can sign. So if you want me to sign the book, I will sign it now if you buy it now, or until the stock has been depleted. And then as soon as the stock gets little bit lower, then I'm going to start breaking up the patterns in this book so that they're individual patterns instead of the book patterns. But again, you're getting a really good deal because the digital patterns are not on sale, or the digital book for Pineapple Passion is not on sale. It's still $17.95. If you buy the print book, you get both for $7.99. So there. Okay, so Colleen says yes, she is in Arizona. Okay, I don't know where Somerton is. So, hang on one second. I've got people popping in here, so I want to make sure okay, so I'll check into where Somerton is and see if there's anybody, even if there's a dyer that might be local to you, that you can chat with. But I'm bummed that you don't have a local yarn shop. That's rough. Linda says she's floors to wash, but she really doesn't want to. I can understand that because I have floors to wash and I don't really want to either. Stephanie asked, with the crochet cruise starting with the May pattern, where should we post? Oh, you just go ahead and post. Yeah, it's not on the website anymore. Post the January through April pictures in the main chat area for me. That would be terrific if you did that. That would be terrific for those of you that are here. Now, Charlene, I'm not sure what you're asking. Do I put in Karen at? If you want to send me an email, just write an email and send it to that email address, Karen@KarenHooley.com, so that I can send you the pattern. And then if you want to subscribe to the newsletter on my website, which is KarenHooley.com, you can subscribe using the boxes. There's forms on every page at the very bottom of the page. There's a form. There's also a pop-up that comes up, and you may or may not get it every day. So, because I try not to let it pop up every single day. I try to make it, if you haven't subscribed, it only pops up a couple times, a week or something like that. Good morning, Aunt Martha. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. And Pamela's here. Good morning. Good to see you too. And Stephanie, great. Thank you for understanding. I had to move things off my website to make things work. There was a big issue on the back end with what I was doing originally. And I think I finally got all that fixed. So, and then when I changed things up in December, when I open it up for the new program, there'll be something a little different than what you're seeing now. So there you go. Oh, okay, Charlene, that's why you have to email me at Karen@KarenHooley.com. If you don't have that first Karen at, the email won't work. So, Anybody else have a question for me or want to talk about something that that maybe I've talked about in another live or anything? Otherwise, I mean, I'm fine with cutting it off early this week, but I just thought I'd ask because I know I get a lot of questions usually right at the end. So, oh, I need my coffee this morning. My husband got up at 4:30 and I've been up since 4:30 with him. Oh, well, you're close to Yuma. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, Colleen. Okay. I know there's a dyer down there and I'm trying to think of who she is. I'll do some research for you, Colleen, and let you know if I could think of anybody or shops that might be reasonable distance from you. Pamela says, I have to rewatch the recorded version. Yes. There will be, for those of you watching now and weren't here at the very beginning, there was a little glitch and it was my fault, not the system's fault, but the sound disappeared for a little bit. So you can just like fast forward through the sound to where I start over again because I'm not sure. I knew that taking myself off the screen also removed my microphone. So that was just kind of weird. Okay. Laura, who's out of Phoenix? You were saying, did you put something earlier that is out of Phoenix? Someone's out of Phoenix? Yeah. Okay. Well, then I'm going to sign off, guys, since nobody has any questions for me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Next week, I'll probably be able to tell you all about my grandson. I don't have a topic for next week. I think I told you guys, I did find my sheet. I have it right here with all the questions that people, I have it here somewhere. With all the questions that people have been asking since the beginning of the year. When I did the survey of things. But if you guys have a question for me that you would like me to answer on video, any question, has to do with crochet. Let's just say that. If there's any topic or question you have about crochet, send it to me using this form, which is KarenHooley.com/Q&A. Capital Q, small n, capital A. I shouldn't say it that way. Because that'll get you to a form it'll just ask you for your name, your email, and what question you'd like me to cover. Now, for those of you who are new this week, one of the things I do is on the last Wednesday of every month. So that would be the 27th of July. I do a Q&A session where if I've got a lot of questions, I will answer them online. And then I also want you to bring me questions and I'll answer questions that whole show. I will, along with, what's new and that kind of thing. So make sure that if you have a question, a burning question that I may not have answered already, or even if I have and you want me to cover it again, go to the Q&A the KarenHooley.com/capital Q, small n, capital A. And I saw there's another comment. I wish I was coming to DFW too. I am planning to pitch for next year. The doctor said I can start teaching in January live. So I am going to be, and that's another thing that was in my newsletter, just reminded me. In my newsletter, I have a survey asking what part of the country you would like to know about where I'm teaching, because I'm already starting to pitch classes for next year. So as soon as I know where I'm going to be teaching, because I assume I won't be teaching it everywhere I'm pitching, but as soon as I know where I am teaching next year, I will be sending emails out to people in those areas. So make sure you check the boxes, and you can pick more than one area. I just broke them out into areas that kind of made sense. But if you live next to a state that might be in a different category, you can click more than one box. So make sure you do that. But I am planning to come next year as long as they take my classes. But Stephanie, if you go to Dallas Fort Worth Fiberfest and you fill out one of their surveys, make sure, because one of the things they ask is what teachers do you want to see there? Make sure you put my name in there, because I taught there twice already. The second time I was invited back because they got such a big, overwhelming response saying for their 10-year anniversary, they wanted these teachers, and I was one of them. So I was really excited to be teaching for them again. And I haven't been able to go back since because of my kids being in college and it always landing on mom's weekend. So this year I'm able to pitch. So make sure you let them know. The Fiber Lady. I've been to the Fiber Lady, I think, one time when I was in Texas, if I remember. I can't remember. Who else is here? No worries, you guys. I'm glad you were here. Linda, go find your newsletter and click on Illinois so that you know when I'm coming. I will let you know, though. You know that I will. I'll always let you guys know here, too. Awesome. Thanks, Stephanie. I appreciate that. And, if that goes for anybody, if anybody would like me to come teach in their area and they know of an event, let them know about me. I mean, I've been teaching on the national circuit since 2004 was my first national event. And so I've been teaching almost 20 years in the national circuit. So it's just been those last couple years with bladder cancer that I haven't been able to teach. So, and COVID. But if you have an event or a shop that you'd like me to come teach at, let them know, because I am willing to travel to shops too. And for shops who are interested in having me there, I'm willing to work out, if there's another local shop, a little bit of a distance away, the two of you want to work together to work on my travel fees, we can do that too. Or 3 shops. I know a lot of Florida shops do that. So if you're interested in that, that's good to know. Okay. You still get it from Perfectly Naughty. Yes, she's doing it all online now, right, Colleen? Because I thought I had heard she closed her store. Fiber Lady. That's okay. So I did go to the Fiber Lady because it was near the Irving Convention Center. Okay, cool. I'm having trouble with that address. Just copy and paste it from here, Charlene. Karen@KarenHooley.com. Okay, just copy and paste that. That is my email address. And that should be able to, you should be able to send an email to that. I mean, that is my email address. You're in Southwest Ohio. You're too far away from Pittsburgh, right? Because Pittsburgh has an event. I don't know who else would be out that way. I have to do some search. Okay, yeah, she does run her business from home now. Okay, cool. Oh, it's my chain. I've been playing with my chain all morning. I don't know why, but I am. Sorry about that. That's too funny. Okay, guys. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. So you guys have a great week. Hopefully next week I will have a topic for you guys. I just don't know what it is at the moment. I will probably have pictures of my grandson with me. I'm so excited. And for anybody else who has a question, you can always leave a question still here in YouTube. I always go back to the comments later in the day. The drawing. Thank you, Judy. Oh, yes. H&H was just in Chicago. However, H&H is a wholesale show. It's not for retail customers. It's for shops and designers and all of that. So that would not be something for Pamela as a consumer. So yes, I'm going to do the drawing right now. Let me put this screen back on here. So guys, if you guys are wanting to enter to win the pattern, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to type in mini skein, hashtag mini skeins. And then I'm going to hit the draw button. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, draw. Here we go. And let's see who our winner is. Liz! Congratulations, Liz. Okay, so Liz, you also need to send me an email at Karen at KarenHooley.com. And if you can't, if Charlene, I just thought of something too. If you are still having problems with that email address, go to just KarenHooley.com in your browser and use the contact form, and that will do it too. So Liz, go ahead and send me an email, and I will let you, or I will give you a copy of Pretentious. Yay! So now that the confetti's gone, I'm going to take that off the screen, and I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for reminding me, Judy. Okay, so have a great rest of your week. Blessings to everyone all around. If you need me, you know that you can contact me, either leave a comment here on YouTube or go to my website or shoot me an email. I just gave you all my email address. So shoot me an email if you have any questions for me. And otherwise, I will see you next week. Have a great day.